right, we're back, everybody. This is the SilmFilm Project Script Discussion, Season 2, Episode 4. Part 1, probably. Definitely. We got a lot of work to do and not a lot of time to do it. So we're going to be super efficient, unlike all of the other times that we've ever done this ever. Alrighty, I'm setting myself a 20-minute timer so that I can efficiently break up the blocks. And so we've got a lot of stuff to get through today. We've got the turning aside of Lenwë and the Nandor. We have the meeting of Elwë and Melian. We have the repercussions of that for when Elwë and Círdan and crew reach the sea. Those who are going to become the Sindar, Mablung, Beleg, Cuthalion, Celeborn, anybody else that we want to throw in there. We have they're dealing with Elwë's disappearance and their search for him. So we got a lot to do. Is there anything that I left out there?
Probably, but not that I noticed. So
okay,
I think
fantastic. We're gonna go ahead then. And so let's start with how we're going to open up in the story. We can go back and deal with the frame after, if there's time.
Words to live by. That should be our catchphrase. Deal with the frame later.
Yeah. Well, the frame was a lot more essential to season 1, I think. This frame, we still want it. We still want to show it, but it doesn't need to have the same kind of urgency to it, since there's not going to be a whole lot of urgency in this particular frame setting. So we'll show, I guess, what we open up. Hey, look who's here.
Hey, Marie's here.
There she is. Look at you.
Hello.
Hey.
It's 7:35.
Early.
I was here before. I just was on the wrong link or something. I don't know. I don't know how to join these things.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm here.
We're fine. Yes,
I'm here now.
We're good. We're
glad
good.
to see you.
Okay.
We just got started.
Yeah. So,
I know. I was listening.
Oh, really?
Click buttons.
So how so I guess we start with the migration. We should start with singing, maybe, with elves walking and singing as they do when we meet Gildor in Lord of the Rings. All right.
Okay.
Sound good?
I like that.
I like it. Yep.
Do we set up any kind of contentions right from the beginning to show that maybe Lenwë and several others aren't entirely enthusiastic about the journey at this time?
Like, do you mean, do we need to set it up with a conversation between people, or do you telegraph it with, like, atmospheric things, like?
Well, I mean, that's an easy way to do it. And by the way, I think that we should be going back and forth, because this is the Teleri that we're showing here, okay?
Yes.
But we should definitely be talking about how, at this point that we're talking about, the Noldor and the Vanyar are already, like, at they're already shipping over.
Yeah.
Okay. Or no? Oh wait, no. Does that happen around the time? Okay, that does happen in the next episode. Or is that what happens in the next episode, or does Elwë ship out in the next episode?
Well, the deal is they're still here because Elwë goes to catch up with them.
Right. You're right. Okay. All right.
So
cool.
they might leave at the end of this one, depending on timing, but
yeah,
they're still there. The deal is the Teleri should be much more disorganized.
Yeah.
Like, they're not the kind of people you can round up and say, let's go for a march.
Yeah.
No.
And have it be regimented. The Vanyar, the Noldor, apparently they've got that figured out, and they've just marched over some mountains and keep on keeping on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're trucking. The Teleri not so much. So
Maybe
they're the largest group. They're very disorganized. It's hard to get them to go anywhere.
They're casual. And their traveling approach.
Maybe the Noldor are more able to be organized, whereas maybe the Vanir don't need to be because they're more motivated.
The Vanir are both motivated in the smallest group.
Right.
So it's a lot easier to organize a small group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. The Teleri are
because most
more,
orcs are of Vanir descent, apparently.
I'm sorry?
Yeah.
Because most orcs are apparently of Vanir descent, we've decided.
Oh yeah, well,
which explains like early worship and devotion to Melkor, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh no.
That's a shame.
Okay.
I'm kind of imagining like a Teleri with like a T-shirt that says "It's not the destination, it's the journey." Like they're not militant, and they don't have really the seeds of militancy in them.
Right, right. Which is why they get massacred by the orcs.
Yeah, it's so sad. So sad. But yeah, they're not going to be marching in rank and file. That'll happen.
Okay, so
back to your original question.
So to get back to do we need to show disinterest or second thoughts? I think we just need to show disorganization.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
I don't think they need to be against it. They're just bad at it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we probably don't need to go full on like Arwen on a palfrey looking very beautiful and very sad before she has a vision of a very cute baby. You know, we don't need to rehash that, I don't think.
Okay. So what, I mean, do we show Elwë being frustrated with this possibly?
Sure, he wants to go catch up with the Noldor.
Yeah, he could have the eyebrow thing going on.
Yeah.
Looking
very
beautiful
very,
and frustrated.
very Lee Pace. Yeah. Somebody likes Lee Pace here. So.
I mean, with those eyebrows, it's hard not to.
Anyway.
Okay. We're learning so much about each other.
Okay. So we show. Do we just show a scene of Elwë? So we see them singing and moving along. How do we show this organization? Maybe have someone come up and report to Elwë that like a group of them has fallen behind or gone missing or something, and they have to stop for a few days to go find them.
Yeah, there should be a lot of back and forth and not knowing where people are and not knowing the schedule and the opposite of a well-organized military.
Yeah. So like Lenwë will come up and be like, "Oh, I thought we were staying here for a little bit," which just of course doesn't mean anything because there's no time reference of any kind.
Right.
So Elwë says, "Okay, time to leave," and it just doesn't pass down the line, and so a bunch get left behind. And when he finds out, he's furious, and he goes back and yells at Lenwë, maybe.
That would show frustration. I'm thinking about every family vacation I ever went on as a kid with my entire family, because there were 8 of us kids, and getting everybody packed up and in the car, it was like herding cats. It would be like, okay, we're leaving now, and then 2 hours later, we would actually leave. So yeah, getting people moving, a lot of chaos, a lot of people moving around, running back inside to get things, mass confusion, people thinking that someone else packed the cooler when in fact they didn't.
That's me every time I leave for work. Every time I leave for work, I have to go back inside to get something. Anyway, so yeah. So all right. So Elwë tells Lemway to get his people in gear, and then goes back because his guys are busy crossing the mountains.
Okay. I see no reason why not.
So how do we when the encounter with Treebeard, because I know that was the thing that was desired, which I like.
Okay, good.
The encounter with Treebeard, do we want Lemway to be alone for this encounter?
It would be easier, I think.
I think so.
It's not necessary.
Okay.
Why complicate things?
if he's alone, then we have to get him alone. Is the issue?
If there's people going back and forth, he could be on his way from point A to point B and notices a tree that moves and wanders off instead of doing what he's supposed to do.
Yeah, if he's rushing around trying to get people organized, I feel like he could be alone pretty easily because no one else is going to keep up with him while he's dashing about doing leadership things.
Okay.
What does Treebeard look like at this point? Is he? He probably doesn't look quite as shaggy, right? Not super old.
He looks vaguely like an elm tree. Are you familiar with elm trees?
I am familiar with elm trees.
Yeah, elm
trees are evil fairy tales I've read though, which is a shame. But yeah, okay, like an elm tree.
Yeah, he's described as when Merry and Pippin see him standing on the rock at that spot in Fangorn, he's described as a small elm tree that they see up on the rock. And then, they climb up on the rock to look around and they don't realize it's Treebeard.
Right.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay. So, but we want to depict him as a very smooth-skinned elm tree.
With a young elm isn't going to have. It's still going to have ridges.
But relatively speaking, yes, but it's not going to be like those deep grooves that you see.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right. So now I presume that Treebeard's not going to talk to him because the elves teach them how to talk.
Right.
Or do we show the initial stages? Because obviously the Ents are sentient. So if somebody had ever spoken to them, they would be able to speak. Maybe Yavanna doesn't need to. Right.
Yeah.
The hum noise that Treebeard makes all the time when he's speaking.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You could do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a trademark sound effect rather than a word.
Yeah.
I just thought about go on.
I'm imagining the Disney Tarzan movie when they're meet and it's hi. It's not going to be like that, but that's the reference I'm pulling up.
I actually thought of E.T.
Yeah, like E.T., but a tree. E-tree.
Yeah. E-tree. Okay, so...
but I think we should have no language on Treebeard's side, just noises.
Okay.
And Lenway has to learn to communicate with him because that's an important theme in Tolkien, that, being able to communicate with someone bridges cultures and things.
Okay, so Lenway...
And this is an important part where we get to introduce our Ent theme for the first time for our music people who are out there listening, I'm sure.
Second time.
Right, Ent theme.
The Ents were in the
That's right.
Season 1, episode 13. Anyway, so...
Oh, God.
Okay,
well, hear it again.
He returned to the Ent theme. It's a good theme, I'm sure.
Yes, I'm sure it is, Philip. So Lenway tries to talk to him, and all he gets is hum hum hum. Is that the consensus here?
Probably.
Okay. So do we want do we want to show here's my concern. My concern is that the episode is going to appear to be like 2 or 3 separate episodes, because I'd like to. It would be nice if we could show Lenway's conflict and Elway's situation and the situation of Finway deciding whether or not to leave Elway behind for now when he doesn't show up. It would be nice to show these things kind of concurrently, but since they don't happen like that,
no,
it's a little bit of an issue. And since I don't think we can convince anybody that we should do 3 separate episodes for these 3 separate things.
Yeah.
So
you're afraid it's going to be disjointed or feel disconnected.
Which is fine, because we can tie it in. We can tie all this stuff in later. We can have Ents and Nandor starting to talk to each other. We can do that towards the end of the episode, and that will be okay. We just have to make sure that it doesn't feel like it's a completely different story from beginning to end.
Yeah. I mean, what do these things... what do they have in common, the conflicts that are happening?
Getting left behind.
Yeah. Yeah. Or well, one of the things that keeps coming up in the podcast is, where do we belong? Okay, so Lenway's position here is, no, this is where we belong. This is where we're supposed to be.
Yeah, we just started teaching the Ents how to speak. It's going to take a while. We can't get up and leave right now.
Right.
Yeah.
So maybe we have this encounter. Do we show other elves? You know, it might be better for Lenway to have several other of his compatriots with him at the time that he meets Treebeard, because then we don't have to show him going back and talking to the other Nandor before he goes and talks to Elway to tell him the same thing that he's going to tell the other Nandor.
We don't want to repeat conversations, that's true.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, we don't have to show it either way, but at least it doesn't look like he just met this tree and just immediately ran off to talk to Elway. If those guys aren't with him, it'll imply that there's some time has passed. Right?
Okay. I just had a thought. Does Treebeard have to be alone? Like, can there be an Entwife hanging around? Or...
That would be awesome.
Entwives! We can have Entwives!
Yes!
Because I really love to get to introduce the Entwives, and this seems like a good a place as any.
Yeah,
and it'll make that later on when he's like in the Entwives.
Oh no!
We don't know what,
especially if there's a specific one. There has to be a specific one. He's particularly fond of. Who's with him at this point?
Yes.
Is his Entwife named Fimbrethel, or is that somebody else?
I forget. I know he named someone, but I don't remember if that was like his special lady or...
He does like a couple.
Yeah, I mean, Treebeard has a wife that he misses. It's not like missing all the female Ents in general is part of it, but he does have a specific wife.
Yeah.
So we should show her, and it can be so sad later.
Yeah.
And we know what kind of tree she is as well, because he describes her.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
So I can't recall exactly. Maybe a large.
I don't remember.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't.
I just realized that I should post this this link on Twitter. So anyway, okay, I think that this is about the time that my little timer is going to go off in a second. So we're going to take a quick break here. Yeah, there it is. For those watching this on YouTube Live, if you are, I should put this in the YouTube page too. That would be a good idea. Yeah, this has been the SilmFilm Script Discussion Season 2, Episode 4 this time, not 3, but 4. Part 1.
Yes, Manny.
We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back in a moment. If you're watching this later on YouTube, feel free to like and share the videos. If you haven't yet, feel free to subscribe. We'll see you in a moment.